afternoon, everybody. Happy Thursday. Welcome into another edition of the Right Side of Campus. It is Thursday, December 12th, 2019. It's 12/12. We're at 1, though. Hope you're having a great day wherever you are. Weekend is just about here. We get NFL football back tonight. Jets, Ravens. We'll get into that game. We'll also look forward to the rest of the weekend in the NFL. Got plenty of games to talk about. We'll hit some college hoops. We'll get into all the news and notes in baseball and other things. And, we'll have some fun along the way. Let's bring in our esteemed panel here today. Donnie Rightside, who's back off of a day off. How you doing?
Doing good, man. Having fun. And I saw Ryan tweet out last night, and I agreed with it. It's always nice when the systematic takedown of the Washington Nationals takes place. We in Philadelphia took Bryce Harper. LA takes Rendon. Love life, man. It's beautiful.
They won a World Series, though. So, hey, that worked out. They get the last laugh, Donnie Rightside. All right. Also, want to bring in Ryan, who, for once, Ryan whoa, you heard that again.
Yeah, there you go.
It was so good you had to play it again. We're back, though. Ryan's here as well. Ryan, you were on with me yesterday, and I want to give Ryan some credit. He got his first viral tweet last night. Congratulations, Ryan, who I got to tell you. Still
climbing, too. It's still climbing.
You will not get to me, but you took a page out of my book last night. Great wording in your tweet, Ryan. You did a nice job because, Donnie, when you –
Was it about quarterbacks?
No, and I'll tell you, when you create a viral tweet, Ryan did a great thing where and I don't think he did this intentionally, but he mentioned the player's name in the act, which when people type that in, his video was the first to come up. It was the video of Kofi Cockburn hitting the ref in the face last night, the Illinois-Michigan game.
Yeah.
How many views do you have on that, Ryan?
138,000 views currently, right now.
Very nice.
486 retweets, 1,700 likes. So
that's pretty good, actually.
Yeah, that's a good one.
That's a good viral
pretty
tweet.
Cool,
yeah,
pretty cool. Yeah.
Good stuff. How are you, Ryan?
Yeah, man, doing well. Doing well. It was fun. Building off the show with you yesterday. Good to have Donnie back here today. Should be a good Thursday show. Got a lot of stuff to talk about. A lot of stuff that I think will bring a lot of passion to the program. I know you, in particular, Jeff, will be passionate about one particular topic we'll be talking about here soon. So I look forward to that, as I'm sure the rest of our listeners do.
Yeah, we've talked about this subject before, and it's really getting irritating, and I want to get into that, which we'll get into in just a little bit. Thanks, everybody, for checking out the show. If you're out there, please retweet the show on Twitter. Please hang out with us on the chat box. You can just click the YouTube link, and it's right there. We have having some issues with the viewer count, and for whatever reason yesterday, it took like 5 or 10 minutes for us to see any comments, but either way, we're here. Now, Donnie, you were not on the show yesterday. How was your night last night, though?
Good. Had a good night. Boring night. Relaxed. Watched some stuff and went to bed and just chilled out.
And by the way, I was going to say this at the end, but I'm going to say it now. Donnie and I had a nice conversation last night on the phone about some stuff that we're going to look to do. I think it's, Donnie, pretty important to bring back that Blog Talk radio show.
Mm-hmm.
It's something that we're going to look to do here over the next couple of days. I know when Blackjack and I did it, we had some great shows. It's really a good time to do it with all the college hoops and the NBA and the bowl games and all that stuff happening. So, Donnie, we're probably going to bring that back coming up here. We'll be able to take calls. You can call in and say what you must. Hopefully, a lot of you guys join us for that. We'll have some info coming out about it in the next couple of days. So, Donnie, that's something.
People love that.
Yeah, no excuses anymore. We can't come on at 1 o'clock and watch you guys. Well, now we're going to do the show at night. Ain't no excuses. And you can talk to us directly.
Yeah, exactly. And you'll have, it's very easy to call. You just dial the number and wait for us to pick up on you. So please, if you're out there listening to us, keep that in the back of your head. It's going to be a good time to do it with all the sports at night that are going to come up here in the new year. All right, let's get into the show here. We'll start out with, as we always do, some headlines here on a Thursday. We'll start out with this. This was a story that we haven't gotten to. I really wanted to save it for a show where we kind of have an open board, and it's going to be a pretty good show today, so I figure we'll bring it out here. Obviously, the Ravens right now, Lamar Jackson is doing his thing, and a lot of people base Lamar's game off of Michael Vick, guys. If we remember, I know, in my childhood and Ryan's as well, and even Donnie was kind of still pretty young. Michael Vick was kind of our childhood. He was kind of the first quarterback to bring in this type of quarterback, this wildly fast runner that can do all sorts of crazy things in a backfield, and is a true great player. But obviously, Michael Vick has had his transgressions, but people are still making him pay for those transgressions. There's a petition that people are signing, basically, and over hundreds of thousands of people are signing to basically prevent Michael Vick from being a Pro Bowl captain in the Pro Bowl this year. Which, look, I mean, we can talk what we want about the Pro Bowl. At the end of the day, we know that it's not that popular. But again, when you're kind of honored like this, it's pretty cool. Keep in mind, guys, Michael Vick, we know what his involvement was in dogfighting. We all get it. We all know what happened. Keep in mind, Michael Vick went to federal prison for 21 months. He lost, millions of dollars, endorsements, a career. He basically had to bring himself up from nothing, basically, twice. And again, that is all from his doing. We all get that. None of us are saying that we agree whatsoever with what Michael Vick did. But Ryan, this was almost 15 years ago. At some point, someone's got to get some second chances, maybe. And Michael Vick has been a model person since then. He's done everything in his power to make people forgive and forget. If you're still holding on to a grudge to Michael Vick, you really need to get a life.
It's funny too, Jeff. Remember real quick in our show yesterday where we were talking about generosity and doing things and doing things in particular, Jeff, doing things behind the scene. Remember that, where not getting credit for it. There was a tweet that came out late last week where David Akers, you all know David Akers, former kicker for the Eagles, actually came out and said that he was appalled by this, in particular because he knows what Michael Vick has done, and a lot of stuff he has done, he has not, quote unquote, gotten credit for because he's doing it, behind the scenes, so to speak. So, I mean, it just goes to show that people, for one, don't like to don't know the whole story, so to speak. And two, look, I'm a guy that, Jeff, I've had dogs my whole life. I still have 2 dogs. I'm a big dog guy. But at the same time, like you said, 15 years ago, he's paid his dues. I mean, put yourself in this guy's shoes. So you're telling me that if you made a mistake, granted, it's a big mistake, you wouldn't want a second chance. You don't think you deserve a second chance. I'm a big guy on forgiveness, fellas. I just am. That's the type of person I am. And maybe it's kind of a wrongdoing of mine or one of my my flaws, so to speak. But I believe in forgiveness. I believe in second chances. And Vick has proven that he deserves one in what he has done since all this transpired.
Yeah, it's total nonsense, Donnie. You got to agree with that.
No, it is. Look, he did some scumbag things, but he paid for the scumbag things. And how do you judge a guy after he does some scumbag things? A lot of people walk the walk and talk the talk, or some people just go straight like, yeah, I'll never drink again, another DUI, or I beat my wife, I won't do it again, beats his wife a year later. He never did that, reformed himself, turned into a model citizen. And I don't know how you can hate that because, if you are a human being, you believe in redemption. If people have the right direction, look, how many people have told you before, Pat? Look, I'm sorry, it won't happen again. And when it doesn't happen again, you're like, you know what? I can trust this guy. It's the same thing. I don't agree with what he did. It was a scumbag move. Everybody knows it was a scumbag move. And he went to jail for 2 years, came out, paid his debts, went through a bankruptcy. How about this, Jeff? Goes through a bankruptcy, but pays the entire bankruptcy back and then lives his life. Amazing.
I've said before, and I'll say it again, whether you are in prison for dogfighting, robbery, murder, whatever you did, if the federal government or state government or local government gives you a release date, that means you will get out of prison and you are fairly equated to everyone else to live your life. Okay. We've talked about on this show, Donnie, about it doesn't matter whether we think they should be in prison longer. It's the fact that a federal judge and a jury and everyone else decided that Michael Vick was going to get 21 months in prison. He did those 21 months. He is he did it. We all know he did it, but he has every right, just like you, me, and Ryan, to go out and live his life and redeem himself. He did that. Not only did he redeem himself, he went right back into the NFL. Ryan, he did 21 months in a federal prison.
Yep.
like Donnie said, was bankrupt, had nothing, was completely out of shape, got back into the league,
and then was second. And was second in the MVP voting that year that he took the Eagles into the playoffs on that run. Exactly.
Come on, man! Like this guy, like if you're still holding on to this stuff, like it's asinine. The guy paid his debts to society. It's simple. Listen, there are murderers that will get out of prison. They deserve if they were given a release date, they're just like you and me, allowed to go out and live their life. Okay, it's just how it works. And if you don't like how it works, go live somewhere else.
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty simple. Good for Michael Vick, and you're totally right, Ryan and Donnie. He's done everything he can to, I think, be a model guy. He's never really. I don't think he's done anything negative since he got out of prison. Good for him. I think he's one of the most, redeeming people I've seen in sports as far as coming back from something. Impressive, really impressive.
You have to give Andy Reid a shout out on this too, because I mean, if he didn't pick him up, who would anyone have? Who knows kind of where his life would be if that didn't happen? You don't.
I bet you, Ryan, it's really not even Andy Reid. You probably have to go to Jeffrey Lurie, because I guarantee you there's a half dozen, 15 coaches said, yo, I would love to get Vick. We can get him really cheap. And you go to your owner and he's like, yeah, that ain't happening. You actually had the owner, probably the NFL, because you see a lot of like Tony Dungy got him in, and Andy Reid, those influences going to the owner saying, just give this guy a chance, compounded with Roger. You're like, look, this is actually a good thing if it works out for you in the NFL. Good move by the Philadelphia Eagles. They're one of the few franchises that I think can pull some of these moves off. If they were even to go after like a Colin Kaepernick, the structure of the Philadelphia Eagles is built for this type of stuff.
And again, good for Michael Vick. Go out and do your fucking thing, man. Good for you. I salute you for it. Yeah. It's not easy, Donnie, to do that. It's not. I mean, he made a mistake. He did things he shouldn't do. And he paid his price and came back and did his thing. It's good for him.
Yep.
So we have no – and by the way, I saw there was a petition the other way. We're standing with Michael Vick. Yes. I signed it.
Yep.
I know I signed it. This ain't going to matter, right, Donnie? It ain't going to matter that.
No, it's a few people get upset and they rattle the cages and it gets picked up nationally. Nobody cares anymore. I mean, do we really care about stuff like this?
Goodell actually came out and already said, I believe it was yesterday, that he'll be at the Pro Bowl. He'll be an honorary captain. The
NFL vetted this all the way and said, look, if we do this, we're probably going to get some slack. And then somebody was actually smart enough in the room to be like, it's going to be like 5 people for 2 days and nobody cares after that. And they're right.
Good for him. Good for Goodell. Goodell doesn't normally step up for shit, but good for him for doing that. I remember when the Eagles signed Michael Vick, first preseason game against Jacksonville.
Yeah.
I remember I went to that game. I lived in Philly at the time. I walked to the stadium. I remember walking into that stadium. Donnie, were you there that game?
I was there that game when everybody started to cheer like a buzz. It was like a buzz.
It was crazy. And I remember there was so many PETA people there. It wasn't even funny. It was wild. And there was protests.
Yeah, but that wasn't the I think the first one was when he was signed. It was when they were actually playing. It's like
that's
in
the
second half. But the PETA people weren't there yet. The PETA people were there when he actually played in the preseason or was there in the preseason.
That's what I'm saying. That was the first preseason game that I remember, I think, that he played in. It was interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Sonny Vegas talking about Vick electrocuted live dogs. Listen, Sonny, you're not. I get you have affinity for dogs. A lot of people do, and I'm not saying you shouldn't. But again, he went to prison and paid for that. I don't.
But everybody's gonna have a different opinion because if you say Michael Vick to my wife right now, she can't think he's the most vile human being in history. It doesn't matter if he reconfigured his lifestyle. You're never going to change some people.
Sure. And again, I don't think anyone will ever make excuses for Michael Vick. Michael Vick did what he did. But again, I'll ask, and I'm just curious, at what point does Michael Vick deserve a second chance from you? Because I don't – that's – forgiveness is important in life. I think it's important to forgive people. And again, I mean, he didn't kill your dog. I mean, I guess I don't understand. Like, why not just say, you know what? He paid his debt. Good for him. I'm going to give him an opportunity. But I get it. I mean, some people just, they really love their dogs, and I get that.
Yeah.
I can get why you wouldn't, like it. All right, let's move on here. We could talk about this for a while, I'm sure. All right, hot stove. We got your thoughts right on this yesterday. We actually had another move last night, late night, about 1 o'clock in the morning. By the way, Jeff Passan, what a hideous guy. What a hideous guy. He is ugly. Jesus Christ. He's a weird looking dude, isn't he, Jeff Passan? He reported that Anthony Rendon is going to the Angels. So we talked yesterday, Ryan, about Mike Trout not really ever having much on that team to really write home about. Now you got Anthony Rendon, who is one of the best players in the major league. 7 years, $245. I tell you what, we'll continue to talk about it. It's nice to be Scott Boras. I mean, this guy's converted about $900 million in contracts over the last week or so. Wildly impressive. I don't think the Angels have been too far away. I think we can all agree with that, but they still have some question marks. But what are your thoughts, Donnie, on Adam Jones? Or I'm sorry, not Adam Jones, Anthony Rendon. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I actually think two good things for baseball. I think last year they were embarrassed themselves and realized that when you have major A1 superstars that aren't signed, it's a bad look for Major League Baseball. So they're wrapping these guys up at meetings. There's no need to drag it out and hope one team jumps into it 6 weeks, 8 weeks later. They're wrapping this stuff and getting done. Also, for Mike Trout, the single best player maybe to ever lace them up, they're realizing for the Angels, we're going to – like, can you imagine a franchise, Jeff, said, hey, look, I'm going to give you the best player that ever walked, and you guys are going to do nothing with this guy. Spend until you go bankrupt to get this guy into the goddamn playoffs. I hope they keep spending.
Yeah, not a bad life. Go out and play in L.A., make a ton of money.
And in a second fiddle L.A. That's why Mike Trout is there, who doesn't want to do commercials, who doesn't want the spotlight. He can hide on that team, so it's perfect. They'll pay you. You get the warm weather. You still live in L.A., and nobody gives you shit about your franchise. It's perfect for a superstar like that.
Yeah, I don't think they're that far away. I think they can compete. They'll get there. Real quick also, and Ryan, do you have any quick thoughts on that? I mean, the Nationals are being bullied, basically. Everybody's leaving, and that's what happens.
Yeah, that's the kind of the big thing for me as a Phillies fan that I really enjoyed from last night. The fact that they couldn't keep Rendon, and not only do they not keep him, but he goes out to Anaheim. He's on, he's in the American League now. So yeah, it's a win-win for me. So good for the Angels, I guess.
Donnie, any thoughts quickly on when we talked about this growing trend of guys basically saying, I don't want to play in the minor leagues, and I'm going to go play in Japan. You look at Adam Jones. I mean, this is a 5-time All-Star. This is a guy that is 34 years old. I mean, he's old, but he's not. I think he still has a couple good years left. You look at a team like the Phillies, who are going to be a contender. Okay, this guy played center field most of his career. I mean, all due respect to Jay Bruce, but I mean, Adam Jones seems like a better option. You mean to tell me not one team in the major leagues gave Adam Jones enough money to stay in America?
Adam Jones is a weird story, though. I don't really know what he's looking for or what he wants to do, or maybe there is even more pay over in Japan. Because if you remember, he's with the Orioles for a long time, and they were so downtrodden, and teams were reaching out like, dude, like, we'll trade for you minimum. You can come try to make a playoff run and win a World Series. And he was like, dude, I'm good in Baltimore, man. And so maybe he just is looking for a new experience and still get paid and live overseas. I don't know, but there's got to be something to it.
Yeah, I mean, I guess he just, they gave him enough money. He said, you know what, I'm going to go give this a try, Hey, it's better than, like we talked about, riding the bus in the minor leagues or wherever the hell you end up going. You don't want to be that guy. Couple comments here. Sam Spix, my best friend's dad worked at Leavenworth. Mike Vick worked on the paint crew that he was in charge of. Said Vick came in the first day and said, I gave enough money to the government. I'm not doing anything. Said he stood there every day with his hands in his hoodie and never picked up a paintbrush. Sam Spix, I think it's interesting that, and I want to mention this. First of all, no one works in federal prison. I have 2 friends that are in federal prison, and neither of them do anything either. You don't have to work a job. You can get other people to work for you. There's people at federal prison that would gladly work over Mike Vick. Again, that's a good thing to share, but I think it's important to mention. Donnie, when you have the ability in federal prison to be somewhere where you have money, you don't need to work. Okay, you can get along fine without it.
Yeah, it's not the chain gang on the side of the street when you're in for murder and they're saying you're going to go cut grass for like 9 hours. Yeah, come on.
Or you're going to stand here and dig holes, and if you don't,
you're just going to break rock just so we can bust your balls all day.
Yeah, it doesn't work like that. If you don't want to work, you don't work, and if you are made to work, you just get someone else to work for you.
Yep.
There are a lot of people, Ryan, in federal prison that don't have drug dealer money or don't have big time money that will work for you, and they'll gladly take it. If you want to sleep all day in federal prison, they'll let you. They don't give a fuck. They just don't want you to make up any waves. And I got to be honest, if I were Michael Vick and some federal prison guard told me, "Hey, get to work," I'd be like, "Dude, I ain't doing shit. Like, he ain't doing nothing. I'm not doing nothing." I don't think that makes me think of him any less, Sam Spix. No offense. I don't think any less Michael Vick for that, to be really honest. And he did give the government enough money. He's totally right. Didn't he not, Donnie?
Well, I mean, just through his contracts, you sign $100 million contract, you're already giving him $30 million off the top.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Good point.
Yeah.
All right, couple other stories.
He should be able to. The guy that goes to jail is like, "Oh, my taxes! You better give me a nice bed, TV, and a chef in here."
Yeah, no, he's. I'm surprised he was at Leavenworth, to be honest. I mean, that's like a military prison.
I think there was a lot of dog and pony show in that trial, if you remember. Like they were going to make sure he got the most time. They were going to make sure he went to a serious place and not just, hey, well, he's going to get 6 months at some country club somewhere. So.
He should have took a plea deal probably. I mean, to go to trial was probably not in his best interest. I mean, he wasn't going to win. So, all right, one other story here, and then I want to get into this rant. This is a story, Donnie. Yesterday, Ryan and I talked about in Italy how the Mafia is now accepting homosexual members.
Oh.
And basically, as long as you're not parading around after one of the bosses found out that his son was a transsexual, basically. He enjoyed transsexual bars and stuff like that. This is kind of an interesting story as well, mob-related. Peter Gotti is making another claim, Donnie. Peter Gotti is the brother of John Gotti, 80 years old. He's basically in his 17-year sentence. He's got a 25-year sentence. He's in his 17th year. He's basically, for the 6th time this month, sent a compassionate release that he be sprung from prison early after he quoted in papers saying he's fearful that he's going to die in prison and that he gets no medical care whatsoever, and that the prison deaths are at an all-time high, and that he just wants to die at home. He's 80 years old. He's got a home in Howard Beach, New York, and that he's submitted and basically lived 80% of his sentence out, and he should be let out compassionately. Peter Gotti didn't kill anyone. Peter Gotti was basically put in prison for being in the Mafia and the fact that he was part of the Gotti family. You would agree, though, that at 80 years old, there should be a federal rule that if you're 80 years old or higher, you probably shouldn't still be in. I mean, you should give him house arrest. Do they really need to be sitting in a fucking prison cell? This guy has major medical problems, and this should be in any prison.
That means you're gonna, if he's in jail, which means multiple guards are watching him, you're feeding him, you're doing all this stuff. If you just send him home, you send one federal guy with him, just as like, look, I'm only here so you don't pick up the phone and just start calling in hits because you still have your mind with you. Outside of that, what's the point?
Yeah, I mean, I get if you want to like make him wear a bracelet, let him live the rest. No 80-year-old person should be in prison. These shouldn't. The medical care,
waste of money.
It's a waste, and the medical care is nowhere near feasible for someone of that age. It's just, I think, inhumane, really. Look, you want to keep murderers locked up, I get that, but Peter Gotti never killed anybody, as far as they can prove. Ryan, do you have a problem if Peter Gotti's on the street and not in prison?
No, not really, not in particular. For the reasons you and Donnie both said, I don't feel like at that point, like you said, he has a lot of medical problems. Probably not going to be too much of a danger to society. I don't know what his mental situation looks like, but I can't imagine that an 80-year-old man, should continue to just sit in a jail cell and us just continue to pour money into him. And that goes for anyone. I think it's a good point you bring up, Jeff, about should be some sort of number once you hit a certain age, depending on kind of what your criminal history is like. You should have the opportunity to leave jail just for, like I said, the reasons that you and Donnie and now myself have discussed.
Keep in mind, his brother Gene Gotti was released. He's not been a danger at all to society. His lawyer, Donnie, said that even Stevie Wonder could see the mobster as a changed man. The federal government says that his early onset dementia is a safety risk for America, and that could be a reason for him to get back.
How long has he been in prison?
17 years.
17 years.
He's got dementia. Yeah, what's he doing? Come on.
Yeah,
like Uncle June, man. So leave him at home.
Yeah, I mean he's got a family. It's not like I find it interesting that like I think the Gotti family is well aware that the federal government hates them, and for them to do anything would probably be dumb. Just stay in your house, live the rest of your life out.
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty simple.
Yep.
Is Gotti still shot calling? Come on, man. He's 80 years old. Who the fuck's taking his bidding up? Come on, man. Listen, the Gotti name is died with John Gotti. It's pretty simple. They have no clout anymore. It's sorry to say. Everybody knows that. The son's not even in the life anymore. The son's an author. He writes books and does bad movies. I mean, come on. The Gotti name has no clout anymore. People know that. They're cool to talk about. John was a fucking star, but at the end of the day, that was 20 years ago, and everybody knows that. The mob doesn't call shots anymore. Sorry. You know what the mob is now? They get whacked by fucking crazy lunatics in their fucking driveways. That's what they are, unfortunately. Mm-hmm. Sad to say. Donnie, do you have any thoughts, though, on that homosexual stuff? Do you find that, it's kind of a different world we're living in?
You know what? Actually, it's kind of interesting. Yesterday on Good Morning Football, I guess, on the NFL Network, they had Vito on yesterday, which actually made me do a little bit of a chuckle that this story actually came up. Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of weird timing, isn't it?
Yeah, like that, it was. How it came out. Like, why was that guy just showing up on that and talking about that, and this comes out? Jeez,
that's what I asked Ryan, because Ryan mentioned that, and I'm like, why was he even on there? Like, what was that all about? Yeah. But I guess I read a little bit about this dude, that Vito character.
Yeah.
I guess what he's doing now is he's a chef, and he's doing these Soprano-themed dinner parties.
Yeah.
So basically, you hire him, he comes over and cooks for you and tells you stories about Sopranos.
That guy's
he was probably trying to slide in with Kay Adams if he was smart.
Maybe. Well,
but as they said on the show, maybe he's a Fanuc.
Yeah.
Yeah, he likes
lost.
Him and Johnny Cakes are boys. Don't forget that, Ryan.
He can't come around here anymore.
He's got to go. No, Bobby.
Settle down, Judge Roy Bean.
No,
go.
Bobby says, well, I know one thing. We can't have him in our social club anymore. Social club. He's got to go. No, he did.
I don't want to hear that anymore.
He did have to go.
Since there will never be another show that's written and acted to have it play out the way it was supposed to.
Remember
man.
Remember when they go to like his house to like they see him with his gumad and that one guy goes, "Fucking Fanuc, better not come around here anymore."
Yep. What's his face? Who said that?
Benny,
Jeff?
Benny Fazio.
Yeah. Hated that character, by the way.
Yeah. All right. One other story. Interesting stuff coming out about Charles Barkley, who made some comments last night, him and Shaq, about Joel Embiid. Look, I couldn't agree more with these comments. I'm sick and tired of this act with this guy. I'm sick and tired of him. I'm sick and tired of him and his words and never doing anything about it. He looks like a different player to me. He looks disinterested. You know what I really worried about Joel Embiid? He made a comment about a week ago when I guess someone messed with him and he didn't do anything about it. Look, I don't want Joel Embiid getting suspended. I get it, but it's at the end of the day, it takes some of his tenacity away. I thought he was a better player when he was more in tuned with what was going on. He cared more, seemingly. Seems like Joel Embiid just has no interest in getting better. I don't know what it is. It's irritating. It's getting fucking old. And I agree 100% with those two. I mean, if you think this team is making the making the finals, you're fucking nuts. They're in the East. They'll make the playoffs. They'll go to the conference finals and likely lose. And Donnie, does it all go back to Brett Brown and basically just say, look, until Brett Brown is removed, these players will never be what we think. Do you think if Greg Popovich was the coach of this team, or let's say an Eric Spoelstra or Brad Stevens, do you think we would have these same problems year after year where we're still not disciplining Joel Embiid? We're just saying, you know what, Joe, we trust you, go out and do your thing. No, like, we're paying you. We need to get the best out of you.
No, I mean, it all dates back to last year in the playoffs where they were struggling early on with the Nets. And I'm saying to myself, going, look, for the greater good of this franchise, I actually hope the Nets win this series because Brett Brown would have been gone the next day and you're forced to make changes. But then they mask over it and beat them, and then we can always rely on this. Hey, The ball bounced around the rim. We lost to the NBA champions. This is awesome. And you're going to get back. And I want to hear this too. Well, Brett Brown shouldn't get fired if he makes the conference finals. What? And gets waxed by Milwaukee? Then what's after that? Then, well, if he makes the finals, he can. You know where this is going. We know where this is going.
Yeah, it's irritating. I mean, it's not going to change. The writing's on the fucking wall. It's Brett Brown. Get him the fuck out. I don't understand why we keep going down this fucking road with this team. Mm-hmm. Ryan, are you getting sick of the antics from Joel Embiid? I mean, I'm sick of the act here.
Yeah, I think Embiid, just my honest viewpoint of it, I think he's in his head, to be honest with you. I mean, he heard all the stuff at the beginning of the season about, how he's got to, he's got to stop the antics. He's got to be more mature. He's got to, just play the game and not have fun. Here's the problem. That's not who Joel Embiid is. I remember when I was playing high school football, my head coach pulled me aside one night before a football game, pulled me into his office and said, "You need to stop dicking around. You got to stop distracting people. We got a game to win." I looked at him. I said, "Coach, this is how I fucking mentally prepare. Leave me alone." And he was like, "Get out of here." And it's the truth. People prepare for games and situations differently. This is how Joel Embiid is. He likes to be out there. He likes to have fun. He likes to work with the crowd. When Joel Embiid is at his best, that is what he does. He's not a just put your head down, score 30, and grab 15 boards and get a win. That's not what he is. That's not who he is. And that's not when he's at his best. When he's at his best, he's hyping up the crowd. He's playing to the crowd. He's joking. He's doing that kind of stuff. And until he can get back to that on an every game basis, I don't think he's going to have the success that we want him to.
When he played like that, he was better than everybody else. Remember that Lakers performance last year? We had 40 and he killed it. And he was playing up for the crowd. He was being the fucking leader out there. He's fucking hanging his head. I'm not going to argue with anybody. That's not who he – it's 100% right. It's so true. And I'm sick of – I'm just sick of it. Like he's trying to change who he is. Just be yourself, bro. Yeah. And go out and do what you say. If you say I will agree with Barkley though. He does need to be more aggressive. I mean, if you watch the Sixers on a nightly basis, he's not being nearly aggressive enough. He's just not. He's not posting up enough. He's not in shape, Ryan. He's working out on the perimeter. He's not confident in himself. He's not in shape.
Okay, but I mean, you at least need to assert yourself. I mean, let's be real. As far as big men go, like natural big men, he's the most talented big man in the NBA right now. And he needs to start playing like it.
Yeah, I mean, he is.
I mean, true big men. I'm not talking Anthony Davis. He's not a true big. He does stuff on the no, but he's not. He's not your prototypical center.
But Ryan, whether we're comparing that a center or whatever, at the end of the day, he doesn't have the same want as like Giannis or Kawhi or
right, and that's a problem.
And the problem also is you're magnifying it because you have other players in this team that are the same way. Ben Simmons is the same way. Ben's played really well this year, but he's still not taking his game to the next level. At what point do we say, like, Ben Simmons is in his 5th year and he still doesn't have a jump shot and he's still got to work on things? At what point does we say, okay, enough's enough here? Donnie, let me ask you.
Yeah.
I've heard recently that the Sixers are basically getting more and more enthralled with moving on from Joel Embiid.
Well, and I know where you're going with this, because theoretically it could make sense. But here's always the problem with the NBA. When you trade a guy like Joel Embiid, you get 25 cents on the fucking dollar. And it doesn't make – this is your team for the Sixers. You just have to find the coach that lets these guys unlock their talent and play. If you want to get rid of Ben Simmons, if you want to get rid of Joel Embiid, Tobias Harris, whoever's on this team, you're getting 25 cents back on the dollar. It's up to the coach. If you're in ownership of the Sixers, Jeff, you fire Brett Brown, you scour the planet for the one guy that can motivate these guys, and then you go in, because you're not going anywhere at these teams. Hey, like, who would you piece them off for, Jeff? Honest to God, like, you want to trade Joel Embiid, what's fair back? To me, you know what's fair back? Unless I'm getting Anthony Davis back, I keep him. It's that crazy.
Yeah, I mean, there was this. I read a ridiculous. Listen to this article I read the other day. It was from like some random blog, and they were like, "Let's trade Joel Embiid for John Collins, Alan Crabb,
Exactly.
Kevin Herter, and it's like
Jesus.
Yeah.
He actually put that out, that person?
Yes. Put that out, yes. I agree with you, though. It's like one of those things where it's like, okay, you guys want Embiid, give me back, AD or
a superstar. Exactly. Kareem or a Karl Anthony Towns.
Let me ask
there
you
something.
Go. Let me ask you this.
Yeah.
Would you do this? Would you trade Embiid to Phoenix for Booker? Because I would.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You need a bona fide superstar caliber player. Yes.
Dog, give me Booker and Simmons. Yeah. Fucking Christ. That would be wild. Ryan, would you do Embiid for Lillard?
Yeah, superstar. I would. You need a superstar talent back. You would need that.
You wouldn't. He's one of the best scorers in the league.
I wouldn't. I hear you.
They don't have that kind
of
player.
I'm like the concept is if you had to get rid of him, I would like because I can see the Sixers. Like remember Barkley, one of the best top 3 players in the NBA. You got back like Andrew Perry, Tim Lang, and Hornacek. You're like, what the hell did we just do? And you handed Phoenix a run at a title, and we got back slot parts that over the next year and a half weren't even on the team anymore. You can't. Superstars never get superstar value back. It would be extremely rare to be like, you know what?
It's not going to happen.
Exactly. Right. That's what we're just saying hypothetically. I would need a star back of one of those guys. Like, all right, you know what? I can stomach that. Yep. But you know what they would get back. What Jeff just said, that blog. That's what we would actually get back for Joel Embiid in the real world. It's like, oh my God.
One other one, Donnie. How about Embiid straight up for Paul George?
Yes, superstar. You need a superstar, and I would do it if you had to. I'm not saying that I'm reaching out to do it. If you had to move, like Joel Embiid showed up at camp and goes, "I'm leaving until I get traded." That's what you would be left with. Like, okay, well, we got to do that.
The problem that this team has created is they became the trust the process team, okay, and they got to that level, and I felt like they just did it all wrong. Like they didn't do it correctly. Like they didn't bring in the right people, unfortunately. Every player has sat out a year. They've did the whole like trade away pieces for veterans, and they decided to trade them away and get other ones, and that didn't work out. Listen, at the end of the day, Al Horford and Harris are nice and all, but they aren't going to win a fucking title. Like, sorry, I don't understand why these people feel like this team, they're not any better.
I think that, but like Donnie said, going back to last year in that Nets series, I think that's a good thing, Jeff, because I think we're all in agreement that if that happens, they will move on from Brett Brown. I truly believe that, and I think we all would agree that's the best thing for the organization.
If by Valentine's Day this team is still playing like this, he needs to be fired. It just does. Like you've got to go out and make something happen.
I don't think they move him this year. I don't.
Because what will happen is that will infuse. And you'll see if they really wanted to play for him or not. It could help.
And you know what the best part about the whole scenario is? Let's just say you like these players and you got superstar talent and you're ready to go. They're all locked up. It's not like, well, Brett and Ben get along so well. If we fire him, he's not going to renew and he'll go walk. He's signed. They ain't going anywhere. Fire the guy now. They're all here.
I don't know.
Here's another quick question. Quick question. Just last thing for me on the Sixers. Is it not concerning to you guys that quote unquote superstars don't want to come to this town and play?
Is it what?
Is it concerning to you that because superstars don't want to come here and play?
I mean, I don't like
free agents.
Let me ask you a question.
Free agents I'm talking about.
If you were a free agent, why the fuck would you want to come to Philadelphia? It's no different from Cleveland I wouldn't want to come here.
Yeah, it's way better than Cleveland.
It might be better, but it's not much different.
But you're talking about upper echelon guys that are saying like, look, I'm going to go to LA or Philly. You're going to LA, or if Miami is popping, you would be insane not to live in Miami and have no state sales tax and live in paradise.
Yeah, it sucks for sure.
What we always joke about, like how many people come on our timeline, Jeff, like the Milwaukee Bucks fans that show. Giannis loves Milwaukee. I got news for you. If the Lakers had a spot open, he's gone to LA because who the hell is living in Milwaukee in the middle of the Kawhi loves Toronto. You know what he loves more? Laying out at the beach and chilling in nice weather and being in the car.
I think there are people I think there are guys in the NBA that are still old school that like they just want to win and they like making money and they're good.
You go to Boston, like the Boston crew that was together, like the KGs of the world. Yeah.
I gotta be honest, I do believe I don't think Giannis will ever leave Milwaukee. I think he's kind of cut different. He seems to me differently, but I thought Kawhi Leonard was cut different too, and he wasn't. So, yeah, I don't think it's concerning. It more or less sucks to me, but I wouldn't want to come here. First of all, let me ask you, Ryan. I mean, this is not geographically the greatest place to live because you either live in the city, which who wants to live in the city? Or you live in Jersey and you got to drive, or like you're not going to live in Delaware County.
But you
so
understand,
like,
it's the same as every place, though.
But in order for Chicago to win, they have to bring outside talent in for this team to win. They're not getting high draft picks anymore. They're back to that Andre Iguodala middling phase,
and that's why
you're not gonna. Yeah,
that's why they failed.
So you need to bring in outside talent eventually.
Yeah.
And it's not going to happen.
And that's why they failed with how they've done all this. They just picked the wrong players, unfortunately. And there are certain guys that I love. Like, I love Embiid. I hope he plays the high level that he should be. And I like Ben ultimately. And I think he's a good player. But I would have traded Ben Simmons for Kawhi Leonard. I would have tried to come up with a deal when he was in San Antonio. Make it happen.
Yeah, well, here's the side of that, too. Because let's just say it played out. It would have played out the same way. You would have got Kawhi Leonard. And if you won, that would have been awesome. But he still was going to LA no matter what. He wasn't staying anywhere else.
And that's kind of, I think, the chance that you had to take. You were supposed to be at the end of the process anyway. Toronto was able to do it. Let me ask you, though. Let's say last year you have Kawhi Leonard, you have Joel Embiid, you have, let's say you go out and get Tobias Harris and you have the Boban, you have those guys. I think the team's good enough to win the title. I do. I think with Kawhi Leonard, that would have set them up. You would have beaten Toronto or whoever you played because
they wouldn't have had Kawhi.
Yeah. And you would have
beat Golden State because they had nobody left.
Exactly. Yep. So you really fucked up there. You should have traded Ben Simmons. Like, you just should have.
Yeah, but a healthy Golden State Warriors team would have put Kawhi's team just on blast.
Maybe, but again, they weren't healthy. So
that's
it's
what I mean. Like, you didn't see that at the beginning of the season, but if you did put your best foot forward, you left yourself in a position to win the title.
Last year was the year, honestly. And you guys know that because this year, nobody's beating the Lakers or Clippers. Like, they're just not. And they're not going to – they're going to be that way for the next 3 or 4 years.
Yeah, unless injury. You're right.
This team has failed. And until people fans don't think like that. Fans, and I've been guilty of it. I want to win. The problem is this team is not good enough to win. And the quicker people realize that, the better. I see some of these I have a lot of friends that are big Sixer fans, and they're always, I can't wait to see this team going down Broad Street. Dude, they're not winning. They're not even close to the Clippers and Lakers.
Yeah, because at least in football, you can say that and you have a good team because one game, like come up with a pick six, you're going to win the game. A 7-game series against elite talent.
Multiple times. You got to do it. And you got to do it how many times? 3 times to win a title? Yeah. I mean, it's difficult. And unfortunately, you've been passed by because the last year or two, the Warriors were good, but they weren't great, and you could beat them. They were getting close to breaking down, and they broke down, and you fucking failed.
Yeah.
And now where do you go? Because this team is worse than the last year's team, I think. Do you agree with that, Ryan? This team was last year better than the one this year.
Yeah. Yeah,
you got some nice points. We'll see how it plays out.
Stop it. You cannot compare Jimmy Butler to what they have there. Josh Richardson's a nice player, but he's not Jimmy Butler. Al Horford's a nice player, but he's old. And who else? Who am I missing here? Harris. He's better than Harris too. You put your stock, as usual. You put in this city. Bad contracts are a thing of norm.
But also, you could say if Joel Embiid wasn't such an idiot and was actually healthy, not sick, and his knee was okay, they beat Toronto.
They didn't though, because in Game 6 they were all healthy and they didn't beat them.
Yeah, but Joel Embiid was sitting out games.
Joel Embiid was sick. It was ridiculous.
True.
If Joel Embiid doesn't miss if he doesn't miss a playoff game last year because he was sick or just randomness, he's not going to play, the Sixers might have won a championship.
You can also make the case, though, that if Joel Embiid plays hard in the final 3 minutes, they beat Toronto.
True.
They didn't, they just, as usual, went
too many
silent
what ifs with this team. Too many what ifs with this team.
Exactly. Getting rid of Jimmy Butler was the fucking issue. You shouldn't have did it. Everybody loved him there on that team. They were all friends. They all worked together. And listen, another underrated part of last year's team. I hate JJ Redick defensively, but he's a fucking scorer. He can make shots. You need guys like that.
You were asking for his head all year last year.
Right, but now that he's gone, I miss a guy like that.
Right, it sucks,
because I expected them to go out and get a shooter. They don't have one. This team never has a shooter.
They had one last year, JJ Redick.
Outside of Redick, they never
they had him. You know what I mean?
Yeah, 20 years ago. The likes of listen, the biggest issue they ever made, and I will forever be haunted by this, is they took Evan fucking Turner over DeMarcus Cousins. That was the worst draft pick in the history of Sixer draft picks outside of one or two. And then you let Lou Williams walk. Why the fuck did you let Lou Williams walk? He'd still fucking be here. And he'd be the exact guy you need. I'm sick of this in this town happening. I'm sick of it. I'm tired of players leaving here and going somewhere else. I'm sick of it.
Is that a Sixers shirt you have on?
Yes.
There you go. He's passionate about him.
I'm sick of it. I'm tired of it. I'm tired of not having enough on this team to win. I'm fucking tired of it. My whole fucking life, I've had to deal with it. I'm sick of it, dude. And I'm sick of these fucking fans.
We got the Super Bowl. We have a Super Bowl.
I don't care about. I'm talking about basketball. I'm sick of this team.
Are you done with this? Are you done with this team?
I'm never going to be done. I love them, but I'm sick. I'm tired of it. It's always been like this. Even look at the Iverson years. You never gave him anything. It just sucks, man. And then I see teams like Toronto win. It's like, what the fuck, man? They go out and get a superstar and we can't. I'm tired of it, man. I'm sick and tired of it. And I'm sick of seeing these fucking shithead fans that don't think about the big picture and think that we're just trust the process. Shut up. I'm sick of trusting the process. It's been 8 years. I'm sick of trusting it.
There you go. Yes.
Quick recap.
All right, guys.
Quick recap last night. Real quick. Ryan, I want to tell Donnie this. I told you this on the phone last night. I called you. You know, Donnie, there's no coach in America. I mean, I love, Beard and Bennett and those guys, but I got to tell you, if I'm a young male, becoming a big-time college basketball player, you know where I'm sending my kid?
Where?
Ann Arbor. I love Juwan Howard, man.
Yeah, but then they got to go to class and stuff, though. So
good. I want my kid in school. I don't want him fucking parading around doing dumb shit.
Send your kid to Florida State, no matter what sport. Trust me.
No, but I listened to this Howard, man. He's fucking awesome, man. Ryan, you love that guy, don't you? He's awesome, isn't he?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, he's definitely the kind of coach that you want your kid to go to. I mean, they have a kid coming in, Isaiah Todd, that's coming in this class, and he called Juwan the other day like an uncle. I mean, he's basically like an uncle, and I think that's a great way to put it. He's got a good head on his shoulders. He's passionate about the program.
He's been there, done that.
Yep, exactly. So, I mean, he knows what's going on, albeit with a loss last night. He's definitely got that program heading in the right direction for sure.
All right, let's get into NFL. I want to kind of go through 4 games here. We'll get to tonight's game as well, but I wanted to go through, Donnie, just a couple of games here for the weekend. We'll start out with Falcons-Niners. This is kind of an interesting game. Are we back to okay, now Desmond Trufant's definitely out. We have all these guys on defense that are definitely out. The 49ers are an over team. They're going to put up plenty of points. I mean, are we back to why is this total 45.5? Am I missing something here?
It's a 48, actually.
Yeah, I must have moved. My fault.
Yeah.
Still under 50. Why?
The only thing I could think of is San Francisco can maybe break the back of Matt Ryan in this game because you don't have Calvin Ridley in this game. You're not really going to run the football and say that's how we're going to play. That's the only downside of it. But if you're looking from a team total perspective or from a side perspective, San Francisco is going to go up. And I don't care what Atlanta did the last 3-4. I don't even care if Desmond Trufant even played in this game, Jeff. You took a top 10 defense last week and made them look foolish. There's no weather conditions. It's going to be 65 degrees, 10-mile-an-hour winds, 5-mile-an-hour winds. they're going to put up 30-plus points themselves. So,
I thought, Ryan, that this total would be 51.5, something like that. The Niners have scored 397 points. The only team better this year are the Baltimore Ravens. We know with Atlanta, Julio's back, Austin Hooper's back. No Richard Sherman as well for the.
You know what could hurt in this game, Jeff? Because how many times do we see this? And it's every week now. Ridley's out. Not even red zone. Banged up. We're bad. Banged up shoulder Julio. Oh, Julio exit in the second quarter, and then it's a bloodbath on that one side of the ball. But regardless of what's taking place, this healthy Niners offense, 3 dominant running backs, the best tight end, one of the, if not the best tight end in football, wide receivers that get open and can burn you, and a quarterback that's dialed in with the best play caller in the NFL. I don't give a damn who's on the other side of the ball.
Any thoughts, Ryan, on this game?
No, I kind of agree with what Donnie's saying. San Francisco should have a field day. Atlanta, look, they've been playing well lately, but shutting, Calvin Ridley now, he's down. Julio's kind of been up and down, obviously this year, battling some injuries, so that's concerning. You guys talked about the total. Do they try to run the ball with Devontae Freeman, who had a nice game last week? San Francisco can struggle at times to stop the run, but that's kind of how I would play this game if I'm Atlanta. I don't want to get into a shootout with San Francisco. Sorry, I don't want to. I like to control the clock, keep the possessions down, and see if we can't keep it closer to the fourth quarter. So I do understand why that total is low.
A couple other games here, and we are looking at Bet Online for our odds. Mm-hmm. We have LA Rams and the Dallas Cowboys. This game's at 4:25 on Sunday. Rams a 1-point road favorite. Total is 49. We're kind of waiting. We saw some good things. Brooks Wright saying, "Suck a dick, big man." All right.
Jeez, that must be on the exit or the that's the X-rated
chat.
We can see.
Suck a dick, big man. He came in listened though. We got his views. So
we can't see. Yeah, the regular chat box can't see it, Jeff. So you got it nicely filtered.
But yeah, I don't know what he's on about with that. But hey, thanks for watching the show, man. Add it to the video. Thank you. Donnie, I'll start with you. Rams, Cowboys. I still kind of want to hold that hope that the Cowboys are going to prove me right as being a pretty good offense, but
they're the best.
They haven't recently.
Yes, they have.
They're a good offense recently.
Look, if you look at the yards, they're piling up astronomical yards.
True. I guess for me, I always equate offense with scoring points. Yeah. So I guess you're right in a way. But
if you look Chicago's a really good defense, 326 in the air. Buffalo, they had 100 on the ground and 323 in the air. And even New England in the pouring rain where you couldn't get a first down, they still had over 330 yards of offense in that game.
And keep in mind, Donnie, since Jason Garrett was hired way back in 2010, the Cowboys have been the worst team in the league as home favorites against the spread. So, it's not.
Is Leighton Vander Esch that key to that team? Did we miss something here with this guy's the most generational talent? Even though he doesn't even grade out well, you just take him out and they can't stop anybody. They can't stop Trubisky.
And you look at now, all of a sudden, the Rams at the latest week, impressive week. We're good offensively. They've been pretty good as a road favorite, and road favorites have had a lot of success in Dallas. Are we just at the point with this team and the Eagles that it's just all right, well, we know that the game next week means everything, so who cares about this game?
You're right. That's exactly it. It's Ryan will probably say the same thing. When you look at they're so locked in, these two teams in the division. They don't give a damn what's going on except what each one of you are doing. So when you're we got to reseed, you do understand that if you didn't make the playoffs unless you got 10 wins, the Eagles and Cowboys would play things extremely differently. They're only looked at for a month straight. They only circle the calendar for one game. Be Eagles lost. Cool. We can lose. Eagles won. All right. We got to win. Hey, Cowboys lost. And Eagles go, hey, we're playing the Dolphins. Doesn't even matter. Let's party. It doesn't matter. It's amazing.
I got to tell you, I kind of like the Cowboys in this game. I don't believe in the Rams either.
I fell into that trap last week.
But I don't believe in that.
Why?
Because I don't. They're not good.
I think there's going to be a lot. I think there's going to be points in this game, and when it all comes down to it, it doesn't matter if Dallas wins. I think Dallas wants to come into this game, Jeff, and just don't get, which is crazy to even think about this because it's a 1-point line now, so it's not like a 14. I think Dallas wants to play well and say, oh, well, we played well and nobody got hurt in the big games next week. I don't think this has put it all on the line. We got to win this because, again, they don't. And that's huge in the NFL.
I'm go ahead.
Rams have to win.
No, I think you're going to see a lot of points in this game. That's kind of the way I lean over in this game. I really do. I mean, Gurley's been coming along. McVay's kind of taking the reins off of him. Surprise, take the reins off him. He's starting to win now. I think you continue to do that. Rush defense for Dallas isn't all that great. So, I mean, I definitely think you're going to see some points. Yeah, Higbee's really coming into his own, 2 back-to-back 100-yard receiving games. I look for points abound in this game for sure.
Yep.
8 of 13 this year have gone over for Dallas. So they've been a good over team this year. I don't know. I don't want to give up on the Cowboys. I just think they're going to come to play at some point, and I think they have the talent. If they could just find ways to score points, as Donnie said, they're going to move the football.
You know what's crazy about Dallas too? Like the way it's probably going to work out, which is insane, is like the Eagles, or let's just say Dallas loses, Eagles, whatever. They beat the Eagles, and then you don't really have to do much in that game. You can rest starters like week 17, and it's unbelievable, isn't it? Like you can rest your starters in week 17 as a de facto bye, then head into the playoffs. It's outrageous how you can do that with like a 9-7 record. Phew.
Yeah, it's nice about being in this division. You know, you can let your hair down a little bit, as they say. As far as Dallas, red zone scoring TD percentage, it's actually not bad. I mean, it's not good, but it's not bad either.
That's because it was really good the first month of the season. Like it was really good. Yeah,
agreed. All right, one other one on Sunday, Buffalo and Pittsburgh. This is the 8 o'clock game, 8:20 game. Steelers 1.5-point favorites. Total is 36. A very low total.
Yeah.
All right, let me come out and talk. I've been on the Steelers more than any team in the NFL. I think I've been on them like, Donnie, what do you think? Maybe 4 of the last 5 weeks? I love this team. I feel like I know them pretty well.
Mm-hmm.
I gotta be honest right now. If I wasn't an Eagle fan, I'd probably be a Steeler fan. I really like this team a lot. I love their defense. I'm a big fan of their coach for the most part. I feel like they're starting to let Duck Hodges do a little bit. I love just the players that have come to play for this team. You know, Deontay Johnson seems like a sure-handed player anymore. And, you know, Benny Snell's doing work. And they're just finding all these different guys to figure it out. And, again, I don't trust Josh Allen. I think when you get Buffalo out of Buffalo, I think they're just a pretty average team. I know that Pittsburgh's going to have a defense that can match right up with Buffalo's D. I'm sticking with Pittsburgh here at home. They're really good in that building. Ryan, what do you think?
Yeah, look, this usually Pittsburgh in Pittsburgh seems to almost be an auto bet the last since they've been at Heinz Field, just extremely profitable there. I do wonder, however, just how good this offense can be against Buffalo. Because, look, take nothing away from Buffalo. Their defense is extremely, extremely talented. And, you know, I didn't like what I saw from the Steelers last week against Arizona offensively where, look, in my opinion, they should have scored more points than they did against that defense. They just should have, you know?
Sure.
And I think we talked about it last week. Donnie, I think, brought it up. Look, this is kind of what Mike Tomlin likes to do. Play things close to the vest, run the football, not take chances. Let's let the defense win. So, this is a coin flip for me, man. You like the Steelers. I kind of am going to stay away from this game. I won't have anything to do with this game on Sunday night. I would probably lean Steelers, but not in love with it. Donnie, what do you
Donnie, real quick, I wanted to bring this up before you get into your breakdown. I mentioned, and Ryan also alluded to the fact that, Pittsburgh on the surface has been, very good at home. You look at straight up, 16-7 over the last 3 seasons. Keep in mind, this year they're 4-1 against the number, but then you look across the sidelines and you see, well, that Buffalo Bills team, 5-0 against the spread on the road. I've said my thing about Pittsburgh's offense. It bothers me just because I don't think they let it open up enough. And Ryan's right. I mean, over the last couple of weeks, you played Arizona, who can't defend fucking anything. Rams in that game weren't great defensively. Indy isn't great defensively. Now you're playing a really good defense. Do we just look at this and say, this is probably first to 17 wins?
Yeah, I would say first to 20 wins, because the one thing you are going to get here is you're going to get decent. It's going to be cold, but not overly windy conditions. You also have to remember that Connor's going to come back in this game. Juju Smith-Schuster is going to come back in this game. You can score some points in the Buffalo defense, and I think if you have a nasty pass rush, Buffalo's really built for it, because Josh Allen sees that damn near every week. He can make some plays, get out of the pocket. I think we're actually going to get a little bit more points than what we thought, because when you're talking about 35 and a half, 36s, and you really just think about what that means, that's not a lot of points. The one thing that you would like if you want points, Jeff, is what? Buffalo to take a 7-0 lead where they say, hey, we have a quarterback that actually throw the football and have some weapons. Look at this. Down the field, as opposed to waiting it out. I think you get a little bit more points. I think it's first one to 20 wins this game, but as you guys are both saying, this is the true definition of a coin flip, but I'm here for it, and I can't wait for this football game. I like to watch both of these teams play. I like it, man.
Yeah, it's going to be a good one.
Yeah,
I think we've kind of watched Pittsburgh a lot recently. But again, we talked about it, Donnie and Ryan. It just seems like Josh Allen isn't ready to be a leader. I don't know what it is. He's, he
needs help. He needs help too.
He does need help.
He has nothing around him. Frank Gore, like, come on.
Shit, man. I would not mind having Cole Beasley and John Brown in Philadelphia, man.
Well, yeah, we can't go to the we're comparing all-time worst of all time.
Right?
Yeah.
I would do sick things for that to happen.
Yeah.
All right, tonight's game this should be a doozy here. Currently at Bet Online, we have a Baltimore laying 17 in this game. Bet Online,
that's crazy.
Total is 45. I guess for me, I kind of zero in on the team total here. There's a lot of concerns, though, from both sides, and I do mean that. I think I said this on one of the radio spots that I did earlier this week about my concern, Donnie, is do you look at this game and say in the third or in the fourth quarter, you're up 30-13. Are you saying, okay, Lamar, let's throw Robert in there. Let's let him get his get his stats up. That's concerning. I think you're going to definitely have kid gloves tonight handling him. I don't think you want to get him injured in a game that you're going to win. It's kind of like playing Western Carolina if you're Alabama, with 2 games left. You just don't really want to do it. You look at the defense over the Jets. I mean, how the fuck are they going to get stops tonight? I mean, Jamal Adams is out. Quinnen Williams is out. Williams was traded weeks ago. C.J. Mosley's been out. And the offense is just terrific. Is this just like, Donnie, that – remember the Patriots when they played the Jets, I think week 6 or 7, where they just won 31-3 or whatever it was? Is that what this game is?
It's what it feels like. Like, I usually like to do videos on Thursday Night Football or Monday or a big game, and I looked at this game all week and be like, there's nothing to actually break down. It's just a matter of want for the Ravens. Do they just go out and scorch earth policy and say, we're going to keep the pedal to the metal? Like, remember when the Patriots were doing that a couple years ago? Like, it doesn't matter what the score is. If it's 40-7 in the fourth quarter, we're still running no huddle, and we just want to keep this momentum going. But when you look at Lamar Jackson, a little bit of a thigh injury, you could see them building that lead 14-3 at the half, and then just icing it, because you still have some decent backups. And what I mean by that is, a quarterback that can come in and still function and run the offense. They have a numerous amount of running backs. They're a running football team. They're not an air it out team. You have numerous running backs that can put the nail in. But from a Jets perspective, what's your point about this football game? What do you want out of this football game? You're banged up. You're injured. Your injury list is this long. And I'm saying, are they going to put everything on the carpet to a season that's thrown away versus one team that still needs to win and stay in that number 1 seed? I think it's a blowout, but I actually like the first half better than the second half, because if you're in the fourth quarter, and you're right, Jeff, if it's let's just say it's still a 14-point lead, which you're not covering, are you calling Lamar Jackson's number on 3rd and 8 to run like a speed option himself? Probably not. So I like the first half.
Yeah, Ryan, I wanted to bring this up as well. You look at when it comes to total offense, you could actually obviously metric it out to be first half and full game, first quarter, all the quarters. Baltimore has been terrific in the first half this season.
Yeah.
One of the reasons I've had a play a little earlier this year on Baltimore in the first. I think it was against Cincy, second time they played. That could be the way to go here. You're gonna have to lay a little juice on it, but I think there's still 9.5s out there you can get. I mean, this game, Donnie, has to be 21-10 at half or 21-7 at half.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, that's like I don't picture like New York moving up and down the field in the Baltimore defense, and I don't know if the outside of Mr. Bounty Hunter as the defensive coordinator, are they just really all fired up to bring the wood tonight? Eesh, man.
And Ryan, you look at Baltimore; they're number 1 in the NFL in first half points per game at 18.
Well, think about it.
18 a game. Yeah. The Jets are down at just 9 a game. So.
Think about all the games that the Ravens have played this year. I mean, really, think back at them. I mean, the majority of them. I mean, they're just slaughtering teams early. I mean, I hate to bring up the Eagles, but they remind me of that Eagles Super Bowl team where they just are jumping on teams early and making their lives extremely easy. Week 1 against the Dolphins, they did it. You touch on the Bengals. I think about that Rams Sunday night game where they just blitzed them in the first quarter. So I mean, yeah. And look, if they were smart, ideally, that's the way they probably want this game to go. Let's get up early. Let's not look back. Let's give Lamar some rest in the second half, and let's go on our business and try to lock up this first-round bye. So, yeah, I like the first half. I do.
You look at recently in the last 5 games, guys, gave up 13 to Cincinnati, 7 to Houston, 6 to the Rams, 17 to the Niners, and 17 to Buffalo. This defense is playing at a very high level.
They're not getting talked about enough either, obviously because of Lamar Jackson. But their defense, you're right, is having a phenomenal year.
Yeah, once that secondary got right, they're good, man.
Yeah, I got to be honest. First half looks real sexy here, real sexy. Again, I mean, obviously, if Lamar knock on wood.
Rain. No, it'll be cold. No rain in the forecast, though. But who on the Jets, like when you take a look at human environments, who on the Jets is like, oh, I can't wait to play 3 days later on the road against the best team in football, who I know they're going to get in the weight room and beat the shit out of us. Boy, I just want to get home.
Yeah, I mean, keep in mind against the Rams, they were up 28-6 at half. Bengals, they were up 28-10 at the half. I don't think they've been down at the half in any game this season.
But even if you look at last 2 weeks, Jeff, you had the complete rainstorm against the Niners, who are the second best team in football. Then you go against Buffalo and you take their best shot when they're in a Super Bowl environment. This is your home. This is like your coronation. And now everybody's saying, what, Jeff? It's his MVP to lose. Go out and get him 4 touchdowns in the first half and put a hat on him. Be like, he's done for the night.
Yeah. No, it's a great point. Yeah. And like I said, they have not been down at the half ever this season.
No, they're not good. And they're too good.
Doesn't feel like they've trailed. It doesn't feel like they've trailed. I don't think this team has trailed since September, it feels like.
And Ryan, doesn't it seem like anytime the Jets play, you say, you have just no expectation that they're going to do anything. And they always prove you right.
Marius Thomas down. You got Le'Veon Bell who's going to play tonight, but coming off the flu, Bilal Pett. Like they have nobody. They are so banged up. So banged up, this team.
And you have a quarterback right now that isn't very good. I mean, it's pretty simple. I mean, this is messy, man. It really, and that's a horrible offensive line. I mean,
and that's a road game too.
Are you seeing ghosts? Is somebody seeing ghosts again in this one, Jeff? You think?
I might do. Yeah, he might. I might do the little 4-pack here. Ravens first half, Ravens full game, Ravens team total over. It's 3-pack. Sorry, I might do all 3 of them.
No, I could look. I can't help unless you're getting a torrential rainstorm, which you're not, or playing in a tough environment, which it's your building. Come on, and it's Thursday night. The ultimate advantage being at home on Thursday night.
Yeah, it's just. I mean, what's the second last game of the year? I mean, the Jets have any
3 games left. Yeah, exactly. That's the whole point for me. Is like the Jets are like, this team is so good and physical. I don't even feel like being out there tonight. That's what it feels like, doesn't it?
Let's not forget who their head coach is either. I mean, you really want to bet on a team coach by
Queen and Williams down, Leonard Williams traded. Like who are we talking about on their defense? Like who wants to be like, I'm going to be the one that stops these plays? Get the hell out of here. Your best safety, the best player on your team isn't even going to suit up tonight at safety.
Yeah. Also, this is a weird stat. Donnie, Baltimore, 3rd in the league in points per game in the second quarter. Mm-hmm. Jets, 30th.
Yeah.
It's going to be a runaway in the second half. -9.5. That's our free play of the day for all of you.
Yeah, man. Just get him 4 touchdowns, put his hat on, talk about how great he is in the second half. Done. No need.
Exactly. Don't disagree with you. Mm-mm. All right. Does anyone want to talk about Iowa State? Does anyone want to throw out a pick for this game? Because I think it's I got to be honest, and I'll give you a little advice here on Iowa. They're going to get fucking bludgeoned in pick and roll tonight on defense. I mean, they are horrific defending pick and roll. It's laughable. It is. Michigan just fucking annihilated them offensively. Iowa State, they got a lottery pick on their team. It's a good offensive team. Over looks really good here, but for whatever reason, this totals went down. I don't know if they maybe just Sharp's just saying, it's too high. We're just going to take a shot. My one concern with Iowa here, and Donnie, if you listen to me over the years, I'll tell you this. Iowa is 90th in the country, or I'm sorry, 90 as far as 90% or not
percentile.
But there's when you do point distribution, Donnie, you know this. There's free throws, 3 points, 2 points.
Yes, correct.
Iowa is 90th in the country as far as when converting points, their distribution is mostly consistent with them hitting free throws. They have to make free throws. They have to get to the line. That's how they create offense.
Yep.
This is a very good Iowa State team when it comes to not fouling, defending at a high level. I kind of am starting to like Iowa State here. I think people are kind of turned off and think that it's too many points, but outside of Luka Garza, I've just really not been that impressed with Iowa. It's definitely one I would take a look at. I think they could score at will against that Iowa defense. Ryan, you saw Iowa the other night when they played Michigan. They are a horrific defense.
They are. They're very much a one-man band too, with Luka Garza not getting much from the rest of their guys with Bohannon and the other cast of characters they have out there. What's up?
Let me ask you though. I totally agree with you. I guess the thing that gives me pause in this game is the fact that I thought Iowa played really well the other night against Minnesota. Seemed like everyone kind of got involved.
Yeah, you're right. They did. They finally did. They finally, like I said, Bohannon and those guys. What's the other guy's name? He has a weird name, Jeff. Help me out. What's his name? Shit. I'm drawing a blank. Anyway.
The son of Jack?
No. But anyway, I digress. They did. And I watched like the last I was at your house for that. That was the
Monday night.
Or Monday night. Yeah. Right. Yeah, they steamrolled Minnesota. So, was that a get right game? Was it not? I'm inclined to think look, go on the road here at Iowa State, albeit it's not too far. I would lean Cyclones here.
Was it Toussaint you were thinking of?
No.
Wieskamp?
Yes, Wieskamp. That's
Joe Wieskamp.
Wieskamp.
I guess also, Donnie, we have to remember that this is a kind of a rivalry game too. What is a rivalry game?
Sure
There's a lot of concern with that. I wish I could get 2.5 or something here. I'd have a little bit more interest, but Iowa is a good offensive team, and Luka will have some success tonight. They don't have a lot of depth on the front line if you're Iowa State, so it's a tough game. A lot of moving parts here.
At Hilton, is it, or at Iowa?
It is. It's in Ames.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, that helps.
Any thought, Donnie? You want to give a pick?
No, I actually didn't even look at this one here. By the way, I saw people complaining, Jeff. Bad cards tonight and tomorrow in college?
Yeah, this week you have exams for a lot of schools. Yeah. So, like tonight, there's only 4 games. Monday, there's only like 6 games. And then tomorrow, there's only a couple of games. So, yeah, I mean, you got to remember, some of you fuckers are obsessed with big cards. You have weekday games all week during Thanksgiving and shit. Relax a little bit. But yeah, so keep that in mind as you look into these games. Donnie, your game up in your neck of the woods, I feel like Grand Canyon and Northern Iowa, that could be a good one out in the desert there.
Take a look at some lines here. Yeah, I like to get Iowa State probably would fit the bill more because the 4.5s. It looks like Grand Canyon, Northern Iowa -7.5. I like those games that are like those swing games, +2 to -2. Those are fun to do. But
I'll tell you, I don't hate Austin Peay tonight. Austin Peay's a pretty decent team. I think they can hang with West Virginia. They do a lot of good things well, Donnie. They're good to get the foul line. They rebound, good from 3. Mm-hmm. Watch out for them tonight. This ain't West Virginia of old. Okay, so keep that in mind. All right, let's wrap this thing up. Ryan, you mentioned yesterday you watched The Fugitive. Did you enjoy that?
I did. Yeah, no, it was good. It definitely was an enjoyable movie. I didn't, I'll be honest, I didn't like obviously, so not to give any spoilers to anyone in that season, but Harrison Ford's wife gets killed, and it's all about, and he's wrongfully accused, so it's all about him trying to find out who did it. I didn't like the story and how it came to be, like how you found out who did it. I wish it would have been more, I don't know, interesting. I don't know.
You would agree it's not ranked where it should be on Rotten Tomatoes.
Would I have given it a 96% on Rotten Tomatoes? No, I thought the score was higher than what it deserved personally. But definitely a good movie. I mean, I wouldn't say it was a good movie. Good actor too. Ralph Cifaretto is in it.
He is.
He's in it. He's a federal marshal. So yeah, it's good.
Hey Ryan,
it's good flick.
Would you agree that, or maybe you don't, but do you love me at all?
I'm sorry.
Do you have love for me as a friend?
Like as a friend, yeah. I would say
no. As a boyfriend.
I mean, I've known you since. Well, it's not something I get asked every day.
Yeah,
sorry. I mean, I've known you since middle school, so I mean, yeah, I guess so. I mean, our families are close. Like, yeah.
I know you're not doing shit tonight. I know you're not. Watch Shot Caller.
Shot Caller. Yeah. Okay, we get it.
It's so good.
Remember I told you it was a 72 on Rotten Tomatoes? I was actually wrong. It's actually a 67. So
doesn't matter. I couldn't give a fuck.
You love those prison movies, though. You wouldn't say any prison movie is bad. Yep. Like you're like someone comes out, guy goes into prison, he does X, Y, Z.
No,
great movie.
Yeah, but see, Jeff would be critiquing the prison conditions though, as if they were real or not real for them.
No, I've said before there are prison movies that are bad. I watched one the other night. It's called Felon. It's good. It's not great. Watch that and go watch you, Donnie, as well. Watch that. It's good.
Yeah.
What are you up to today, Donnie?
Not much, man. Just Thursday and got to go pick up the kid. What else is my life,
Yeah, before when we end the show here, Donnie, I want to try that blog talk thing. So
yeah, yep.
We're gonna do that. We're gonna take
blog
calls.
talk radio.
So I want all of you to call in. I want all of you to call in. You want to tell me to suck my dick? Call me on the fucking phone and tell me.
Yep.
Because someone just did that. So fucking do it.
Like I got a feeling, Jeff, like Richard and Sal might call up. You never know.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, you want to do prank calls, Eric the Midget, kind of thing.
This is training.
Like you got a rod loose in there. Yeah, sure.
Yeah, whatever you guys want to do, I want to hear from you. We're gonna definitely do that. The sports keg is in here.
Yes,
Ryan or Donnie. The Keggermeister.
Jeff, I got a couple days off too. The YouTube channel for another company, which I do stuff for, actually has a strike against it and down for a few days. So the Keg got some time. Yeah.
Wow.
All I have to say is, you hate to see that.
Come on, we got to get the news out to him, Jeff. We got to get out there. I need an NFL action. I'm not going to be able to do an NFL show on Sunday, Jeff.
No. I will say this. Let me rephrase.
Damn you.
I don't like the fact that Donnie and the Keg aren't going to get to do shows. That's one thing I do hate. I'm sorry. I do like those two.
It's not nice, Jeff.
Is that the guy's name? The Keg?
Yeah, it's his legal name.
That's his last name, yes.
His name is Keg. That's his real name.
No kidding. No kidding.
Yes. His name is actually Keg, Ryan.
That last name, you never know.
People couldn't get over when they met me and my name wasn't Rightside.
Yeah, his first name is actually Beer. That's his first name.
Beer Keg, no kidding.
Yeah, that's crazy.
I've heard weirder.
We also saw last night before we go, Donnie was heading down memory lane, showing us about the one TD pass he caught in high school. Good for you.
That was actually college, Jeff. So.
Oh, yeah, college. Yeah.
Was it really?
It looked like a high school game. Sorry.
We leveled up.
Hey, Ryan, when are we going to see you at left tackle?
Yeah, got to put some ads out there. It's funny.
Yeah. You don't want to see that.
Let me tell you something about Ryan. He was one of the worst.
We ran triple option in high school, so like I don't think people. If I put out film of my high school, I don't think people would know what the hell's going on. They'll be like, "What is this sorcery?"
Yeah, like if you're like it's hard if like, hey man, I played safety in football, and like you put out a thing like, well, who are you over here? Like at least if you have like an offensive position and you can get some movement, like that's you there. Yeah, it's hard to see like great block.
Hey, Donnie, you want to know something? Ryan was actually rated PA worst left tackle.
Man.
He got blown by every play.
He was worse than Mannheim. Jesus.
It was like watching Michael Orr when he first went to that prep school in Bonn.
Remember when Michael Orr drove that guy down the field and like threw him over that fence? That was me in high school. So.
Yeah, we could tell by your story earlier on your coach telling you you're not good enough.
That's right.
Yep, like get out.
He didn't say I wasn't good enough. He said
like head over to Spooky Nook. Yeah.
Yeah, I was. Oh, you know Spooky Nook? No shit.
He knows like certain landmarks. He doesn't know
That's funny.
By the way, Donnie, Spooky Nook wasn't around when we were in high school.
No, I was surprised how nice it was too. It's crazy.
It's so nice, right? What'd you go there for?
We go to when my daughter was little. Every year we would go to Dutch Wonderland, but we tried to look for like a hotel, and the warehouse there was brand new. And we actually went. We went on a weekend that they didn't have any competitions, and it was just odd. Like you had the whole run of the place to yourself.
You ever see that hotel there, Ryan? It's pretty fucking cool.
It's very nice. It's very nice.
It's everything around there is nice. Yeah. It's pretty remarkable.
Yep.
By the way, this is all coming from a guy that didn't play football, so. I was too cool for that.
You played midgets or something.
Did.
Jeff said.
Jeff, why did you play like D tackle or something, man? Like,
Jeff said he could have been a quarterback. He said he had a really good arm.
I'm not even kidding. Listen, just hear me out. I mean, I was like a kid. I was like 8 years old.
It's too much.
No, I'm telling you, I had a good arm when I was a kid. Seriously. I was a pitcher in baseball. I was in the paper and shit. I was a good player. I stopped, but I was a kid. I was like a fucking little kid.
Mm-hmm.
But I was short. We were all short back then. Everyone was little.
Coach put me in. We could have won states.
That's right.
Yeah, I could have threw a ball to those mountains.
That's right. Throw a football quarter mile.
All right. Everyone have a great day. Thank you for watching. We are all going to go with the Baltimore Ravens. Charm City, stand up. Baltimore, Murderland. -9.5 first half. Shout out to Park Heights, Pimlico, Cherry Hill. We see you. Baltimore. Staying the fuck up. Woodlawn, Dundalk. Shout out to Baltimore. Baltimore -9.5.
Baltimore
tonight. -9.5 in the first half. Have a great night. See ya.
Peace.